concern about this problem? Just like this one, if no action is taken, political consequences may occur as the young people become increasingly frustrated at the inability of the government to find affordable housing. See here? And lastly, we should have the purpose statement. The purpose statement is just like here, it's written in terms of the thesis statement, the thesis, problem identified and solution identification as well. This essay will examine the issue of housing provisions and suggest that the best solutions seem to be the ones that require this disruption to environment. All right. So I think this is quite a standard and adequate introduction with all the components: situation, problem, why it is significant to us, and then the thesis statement. Okay. So situation, that is a situation, and then okay, how about the next paragraph? The housing problem in Hong Kong is a pressing issue. Hong Kong is a small territory with limited space for development. Due to the mountainous terrain and amount of land within country parts, there is a shortage of land. Currently, only 6.9% of land is for residential use. However, the population of the city is continuously growing. According to the Census and Statistics Department, the population is projected to rise from around 7.4 million today to a peak of 8.22 million in 2043. Therefore, the government is planning to build almost 500,000 new units in order to house this increasing number. With many people living in small subdivided units or small flats, quality of life issues are becoming more apparent. The lack of housing has also led to an increase in housing prices. That has meant that most young people have no chance of ever owning their own apartment. This has led to the rise of localist movement in Hong Kong that may cause political instability in the future. So can you recognize this part, the second section here? The second section is the problem explanation. How do you feel about this problem explanation? Do you think this is quite thorough and detailed? I think this is quite thoroughly discussed. Remember, in the first paragraph, in your introduction, you must have the thesis statement after the introduction, after the situation, after the significance. And then for the rest of paragraphs, for each of the rest of paragraphs, you must have the topic sentence. I hope that you still remember what you've learned in high school. A topic sentence indicates the main idea you would like to cover in that paragraph. In other words, you cannot cover anything which is not mentioned in the topic sentence. A topic sentence also requires you to indicate your stance, your viewpoint. So can I state some factual information in the topic sentence? No. A topic sentence must include your viewpoint. You cannot indicate any factual information because there's no viewpoint here, right? This one, what's the topic sentence? The topic sentence is the first sentence of the second paragraph. The topic sentence of the second paragraph is the first sentence of the second paragraph, which is this one. The housing problem in Hong Kong is a pressing issue. Pressing, immediate, right? It's an urgent issue. Then by the time I read this topic sentence, I have some questions in my mind. That is, why you think this is an urgent issue? And what the issue is about? Why it is so urgent? Do you have any evidence to support why this is urgent, right? So I have the questions. The reader, including the markers, they have the questions in their mind, and they are waiting to read the rest of your paragraph to answer these questions. Why this is urgent? Why this is pressing? Any evidence, but not just from your observation, because in your academic writing, you have to provide evidence from academic sources or from non-academic sources. Your own observation or your own memory would not be enough to support your claim in academic writing. In general writing, I think it's fine, but in academic writing, this is no go. So can we see the sources being used to support housing problem in Hong Kong? Okay, is a pressing issue. Oh yes, we see the Census and Statistics Department in 2015. Currently, only 6.9% of land in Hong Kong is for residential use. And with the increasing population in the next 20 years, so it's pretty certain that we don't have enough land to house all people in Hong Kong. Another one from Jan 2015. I don't know if this is jumping. No, I'm not quite sure. All right. Anyway, the government is planning to build almost 500,000 new units. Plan, you know, this is the wishful thinking, or this is a blue sky thinking. Do you believe that the government can really realize the figures? So it is said that they want to build 20,000 flats per year. Each year, 20,000 flats, 20,000 units. But do you think they can meet the quota every year? No, they always, every single year, the government here comes up short. They don't have enough. That's why the numbers of the outstanding housing is slow boring. Okay, so it's more difficult to catch up. And then lastly, so if the problem is that serious, now I'm convinced the problem is really serious, it's really urgent because all the data you provide, they are quite convincing. So what? So what if we ignore it? No, here that's the answer. The ignorance of the housing problem would lead to some social movement in Hong Kong, and which may undermine the stability. Can you see a green word? So now, do you see what structure you should deliver in the problem session? Number one, the topic sentence. The topic sentence should indicate your viewpoint about the problem, the seriousness of the problem, okay, or the nature of the problem. But you shouldn't state any factual information, because factual information carries no viewpoint. And then you have to provide evidence to support your topic sentence. And lastly, you have to make the concluding sentence or concluding sentences to indicate that what's the implication, what's the consequences if this is ignored, or if this issue is ignored, what's the consequence? All right, can you follow? Therefore, we see the problem part. Now, let's move on. The next session. Are you expecting to see another problem, or are you expecting to see solution? Oh, we can see the third paragraph, the first sentence. One solution to the problem is to increase the reclamation outside of Victoria Harbour. Right? So the solution is here. This is the topic sentence. Do you think this is an adequate topic sentence? As I told you, one basic requirement for an adequate topic sentence is that it has to be non-factual, and you should have a viewpoint. You should have a stance in the topic sentence. Increased reclamation area, increased reclamation outside Victoria Harbour. Yes, I think this is a viewpoint. This is a qualified topic sentence. Now, my next question is, based on this topic sentence, what do I expect? Oh, can you tell me why you think reclamation is one of the solutions? Can you tell me that why, and how, if this is done, how this is to be done, how this is to be done, all right? And what's the benefit of doing so? Or any possible cons, pros and cons, the drawback of doing so, right? So I'm expecting some of this or all of this. Let's see. There are many coastal areas that are already urbanized, and reclamation would result in more space for residential development. Oh, I see here. Yeah, I think this is a strong reason, because Hong Kong is quite well developed. We can't hardly look for any empty lands, right? Empty area. So the only way, the easiest option for us to do is to create a land. Infrastructure could be more easily developed, as there would be no problems with the existing developments or legal hurdles trying to free up land in the new territories. Okay, land reclamation is also a popular solution for the government, as it can earn high revenue income, since land sales are one of the major ways that the government make money. It's also supported by large institutionalized developers, as it's easier to build infrastructure required. Or we see three reasons to support why reclamation is a good solution, right? So I don't want to repeat the three reasons, but what are the cons, or what is the disadvantage? We see the word however. This is a conjunction. This is collective to indicate you are going to talk about something opposite. However, land reclamation destroys and contaminates, okay, precious marine environment through drugging and construction. Air and noise pollution are additional concerns. All right. So in this one, whenever you offer one solution, you talk about pros and cons. That easy. So this is the third paragraph solution here. How next paragraph? Are we going to offer the conclusion? No, we see another solution. Building a new island metropolis is another suggested solution. So is that a qualified topic sentence? Yes. Building a new island. This is a viewpoint. This is not a kind of factual information. And then I'm expecting you to explain to me how this is to be done and the advantages and disadvantages of this. And you have to support the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages with your research, not from your own observation, not from your own feeling. Supporters of this idea believe that a new island city could be created in the sea between Lantau Island and Hong Kong Island. The island would allow for the development of small city with a large population. The island would be connected to the rest of Hong Kong through a series of bridges and tunnels. Such a large-scale building project would certainly create many jobs and be supported by property developers. Building a new island has many of the same disadvantages that coastal reclamation would cause, with further problems of navigational risk in such a busy channel of water and the possibilities of changing water currents that sustain certain kinds of marine lives. So at the same time, we see the cons here. But what's wrong with this paragraph? Yeah, it sounds reasonable to me, okay, but I find something missing there. I can't see any in-text citations. I can't see any sources to support your claim. Advantages, disadvantages. So as above, supporting reasons given, but no evidence provided. I mean, no citations. That's why this may not be a good solution, because the in-text citation is omitted. All right. So I don't want to go through it word by word. I want to leave it to read it. I just read the topic sentence. The next one here is another solution to this issue to turn the country parts into residential use. Blah 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 blah. And then let's look at the concluding sentence. Although using a small amount of such land would not be too problematic, opponents of this plan suggest that as soon as country parts are utilized for residential use, that inevitably more land would be seized for further development. So in other words, if you unleash the control, if you release the restrictions to allow people to turn the country part into residential use, once you start the ball rolling, perhaps more and more country parts will be turned into residential use. In other words, we will have fewer places. We will have less land for enjoyment, amazement, and that is also important for the well-being, for livability of Hong Kong people, because in Hong Kong we are already crammed in a small area. Turning the country parts into residential use will make us lose the place for enjoyment. Same here. Can you see any citations? No, I can't see any citations. Okay, next one, we developing brown sites. We developing brownfield sites. We release a great deal of land. Okay. And then last one is introduce a tax on unrented property. This is the vacant tax I mentioned. All right, so we have offered a number of solutions. How many solutions we have offered to one problem? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 solutions are given to one single problem. So which solution is the best? Let's look at the conclusion, which is the last paragraph. It seems clear that no one solution will ultimately solve Hong Kong's housing crisis, and there are some serious environmental and legal obstacles associated with some of the proposed solutions. The best option seems to be developing housing on brownfield sites as unproductive land would become better utilized and the environment would be improved. If combined with the introduction of a test on empty properties, which involves nothing but changing the law, these measures could result in seriously elevating the need to create housing which damages the environment. So you see that environmental protection, environmental concern is the primary obstacles to put forward recommendations, to put forward building a new island. So we may want to try the easier path, which is taxation, and the other one, redeveloping brownfield sites, the redevelopment of the brownfield sites. All right, so this is a conclusion. Now, can you tell me which pattern is being used in this writing? Pattern 1, broad, pattern 2, train, or pattern 3, broad with multiple solutions? I think the answer is quite obvious. If I use this chart to represent the flow, this is the one to go. Can you see that? Situation, lack of housing provisions. Of course, this is the very simplified version that you should also indicate, okay, the situation, the problem here, and also significance. Remember why this is important. And lastly, the thesis statement. Problem, limited land supply, causing social issues. Therefore, we need some solutions to solve the problem. What are the solutions? Solution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solutions. And lastly, evaluation, which one is the most feasible one? Best to develop brownfield sites and test empty properties. So I would recommend you, before you start your writing, or when the time you brainstorm, generate your ideas, you can use a table like this, a flow chart like this, to begin with. All right, any questions? Well, give me a moment, please. Okay, I would like to make some announcement here. So should I pass on to you?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Okay. Thank you.
Commercial time.
Commercial time. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I may look familiar because you may saw me jumping around when Bruce has the lesson. I'm the technician. No,
She's my boss.
No. That's no hierarchy. We are team. Okay, we are teaching in here. We are co-teaching in 2 different classes. So what I would like to tell you something very important. Okay, may I introduce myself? My name is Jacqueline. All right, I'm actually a very experienced teacher, same as Mr. Ma. And then I deal with the other class at the same time, some module matters. So let me show you the PowerPoint in here. Doesn't work out the mouse. Okay, maybe
it's
here.
already there.
Yes, yes, very good, very well prepared, Mr. Ma. Thank you. Maybe I will see myself at the same time. Let me see. And wait, I want to see everyone's reaction in here also. Type anything, I will try to reply to you right away. Okay, so everyone can see me. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, nice. KOL. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Jacqueline, and this is a module GEC 5202. Bruce and myself are teaching this course, okay, in the evening. And there's some breaking news. Let me put it this way. Bruce, have you talked about this? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Quite sad that Bruce, due to some personal reasons, that he cannot continue to teach us in here. It is a big loss. It's unfortunate. So the lesson 1 to 3 is actually online live by Bruce Ma. Then next lesson we will have it cancelled. Yeah. And the next lesson, the next lesson is lesson 5 to 14, might be 15 because we have a makeup class, but I will talk about this later. It will be face-to-face session, and then another teacher will come in. Her name is actually Rebecca Tan. She's very experienced also, and then she will join us later on in lesson 5. So at this moment, when you see this slide, I would like to get some information from all of you, because there's actually quite a number of you, and I know that you comes from all walks of life. You might have difficulty to kind of find a dates that we can all meet for the makeup. But don't worry, it will, when we have a makeup, we will have it online, and also we will have it face to face. Okay, and Rebecca Tan is going to deal with it, okay, to manage it together with me. I will be supporting her, but she's still the teacher. So bye, Bruce, and then but welcome Rebecca later on. Okay, I'm here to make sure that the transition is smooth, and if you do have problems, don't hesitate, and please tell us. And meanwhile, I would like all of you to scan this QR code. I'll go to this link. I will have this link sent to the chat box. Okay. All right. So let me see. Okay. So this link will lead you to another page of Google Form, and I would like you to show us that which day you cannot come for makeup class. I'm just trying to get the information, that statistic, see which day is the best for everybody. Okay, so that everybody can join. Could be online, could be face-to-face. Hopefully it's face-to-face. Highly recommend, I will say highly recommend these free session. Let me show you what are the dates in here. Let's go to, when you click on this one. Okay, you will see that this is the wait. Okay, you can see that. So you will see that these are the dates that we propose in here. 23rd of October, 30th of October, 6th of November, 13, 20, and then so on. Okay. There's a last resort. We can use a revision week. All right. Revision week Wednesday. Yeah, but I doubt most of you will be kind of free. I'm not sure. This is 23rd. And I would like to suggest that it is better to get those days here. All right. I do not have my agenda with me, but if you check out this day, yeah, some of them is actually fall into lesson 10, 11, on 12. On Wednesday, you have this lesson, and then you can, if you can, make it on Friday of one of those week. Perfect. Now, why I say so is because this week is actually only 2 groups will come in. Okay, if we can have the makeup class in with all these dates, or even like this is Wednesday. If we have one more Friday as a makeup class, it will speed up the whole presentation and the first what's that, the assignment 1A draft. So this is much better than put it at the end as the makeup class. Usually at the end there's not much we can do, but in between there's a lot of support we can give you, and one of these is actually giving consultation. So I would urge you to make yourself available on these 3 weeks Friday. Let me go back later on. I forgot to bring the academic. Do you have the academic calendar? If you have, yes. You see, Bruce is very organized. I think that's you. Yeah. Wow! Look at this, so organized. Let me check. Now, if we go back to the Google form in here, okay, I will highly recommend you, if you are free on the 20th of, is it 20th? Let's see. Yeah, 20th of November, 27th of November, or 4th of December. These are the 3 dates. Very good. Because Wednesday you have class with Rebecca for consultation presentation, and then Friday you also have it. It will speed up the whole process. And then that means there will be more support. I think there's quite a lot of people in this class. We may need 3 days. Yeah, if we make it Wednesday, and one of the Friday in here, or even in here, then you can use the other Wednesday for lesson to further support you。嗱，其實講中文簡單啲，就係咧，因為而家我哋揾 make up class 嘅 date， 所以咧你要填呢個 Google Form 話俾我聽，究竟幾時係最好 ？Highly recommend 頭先所講嘅11月20、27號同埋12月嘅4號，因為呢啲咧係 presentation 同 consultation day。如果咧真係你哋咧比較大多數人咧都 OK 嘅話咧，咁變咗咧兩組入嚟。其中一個星期五咧又可以入嚟話做個 consultation 啊同埋 presentation 咧，咁就 perfect 啦。咁你其中一個咧，譬如呢一個嘅星期三咧，可能順延咧做唔係順延，應該係做呢個 teaching， 咁就唔使咧早都要咧喺 make up class 嘅時間出嚟啦，因為我知道好難夾㗎呢啲時間。我 check 過你哋星期五咧係冇 IPS 堂㗎，你哋係要專登翻嚟嘅。不過如果能夠咧星期三見到你做 present， 然之後星期嗰兩組人做咗 present 就唔使翻。之後如果 make up class 如果擺喺當中嘅其中個星期五咧，咁咧嗰兩組就要翻，咁就 perfect 啦。咁就唔使咧個夾齊晒。嗱，我希望大家明白呢個 logic。有少少困難，有少少 complicated。But anyway, show me your time slot, your availability in this link. All right. So I hope it is not too complicated to understand. Now, this will be the arrangement. Lesson 4, no class. It will be cancelled. So it will be the first time that we will have face-to-face, but we will cancel it. All right. So please don't come to campus. But week 5, come back to campus, and then we will have the test 1 practice at the same time. Some more information about the essay outline, or you need to complete it or whatever. I think there's I think Bruce has talked about this, mentioned this. But anyway, so there will be practice. I will update more information later on in the Moodle. Yeah, because the test is actually upcoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question. So it's about the research lot, because last time and also at the beginning of this lesson, I asked the students to prepare the research lot.
Very good.
Because they have to submit it to Moodle.
They can do it for Moodle. But actually, research log, very good questions, Bruce. Research log is not created, but it's important as part of your essay writing, because the research log help you to research, get more data, and then you paraphrase it. It's also preparing you to test 1. So do it. It's not created, but it's good for you to work on it. It's a kind of practice.
So I recommend that you use before, okay, the free time to do your work assignment, right? Make use of the time to draft it so that you can make the submission in week 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well done.
And that's why today we cover problem solution writing, mean the structure. I think that you can make a start, okay, after this lesson.
Yes, I trust your professionalism and teaching, and similar to my class. Yeah. And then remember, students, to work on essay outline also. Yeah, I think Bruce might cover this a little bit. So anyway, I will hand over the teaching back to Bruce later on. Let me try to give you one more information. Yeah, Abel Zheng is a very experienced teacher also in DI. He is also the module convener. Basically, we are Abel Zheng prepared those information for us, the teaching materials and so on. So if you do have any concern or questions regarding the arrangement, let me know, and also let Abel know. Yeah, Abel may be the one who actually directly will manage it, and I'm actually supporting Bruce in here at the same time. So either find me or Abel, and Bruce is set to say bye-bye to you. Yeah. All right. So that is the information, and then this information will be in Moodle later on. So please do type your or tell us your availability, and then see which day we can have the makeup class with you. Hopefully all of you together. All right. So that's the commercial break. I'm overrunning.
Okay,
so
thank you very much, Jacqueline. Okay, for making the transition arrangement. So students, I don't think you should worry about it, because we are all experienced teachers, and under Jacqueline, she got lots of experienced teachers. I think that you are in good hands. In good hands.
I would say my English team is actually with me together, not under my head. But yes, anyway. So Bruce, back to you.
Okay,
Sorry, I make your seats very hot.
No
Okay.
problem. I feel cold.
Bye,
Okay,
students.
bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Jacqueline.
All right, boys and girls, I'm sorry for making you a bit inconvenient, but I hope that you can really find the time to do the makeup class. But you see that my departure is quite unprepared. So you see what I prepare? I have prepared the lessons already, lots of lessons. So this is something unexpected. That's why I have to go. But anyway, let me continue to teach because I don't want to waste your time. Today, I would like to cover a bit more about paraphrasing. All right. For the PowerPoint, for this one, the PowerPoint that Jacqueline showed you, I would upload it to Canvas. Sorry, I'll upload the module to Moodle by the end of tonight. So don't worry, you will see the QR code. Okay, so we have finished the structure already. Please allow me to continue because we have no break today. I just want to go on. If you want to have a break, go to toilet, okay? So you can do whatever you want because you are just, I hope that you are working at home, okay? You are attending a lesson at home. Okay, let's carry on. Let's carry on. Now, we have already gone through one sample essay about housing problem, okay? And you know how the structure, okay, could be exhibited in the essay. I would like to give you another sample writing. This time, I would like to talk about food, okay? Food, I mean the problem of obesity and poor fitness, okay? Let me show it to you. That's the other one. So we have done this one, and then we move on. There's some questions here. Okay, let me just quickly go through it. They are the same as what I mentioned. By the time you write the background, please indicate the problem, what problem it is and why it is important. But something may be missing here, okay, because this is my addition. You may want to talk about the situation, that is the current status or the trend, the phenomenon, to bring the audience, to inform the audience, okay, the current situation, what the problem, significance, why it is important, okay, and then why it needs to be solved. I think this one, why this is important, should be down below. Sometimes you see that I try to follow the course scope, but sometimes I want to make some changes. Why it needs to be solved, it means why it is important. 3 things in the introduction, plus the thesis statement. Thesis statement, all right? So you see that usually a thesis statement should be in 1 sentence. But if you write it in 2 sentences, I think it's fine. We have done this one. Which sentence is a thesis statement? This is based on the reading we did before. This is the thesis statement. This essay will examine the issues of housing provisions, that's the problem, and suggest that the best solutions seem to be the ones that require least destruction to the environment. You will see that in the thesis statement, the solutions are not made explicit. Okay, if we have, because of course we know the solutions recommended because we have read the whole essay. The 2 solutions are number one, taxation, and number 2, redevelopment of the branch sites. But these 2 solutions are not indicated explicitly here. It just say that the best solutions are the one which make less impact on the environment. I think this is a quite clever way to avoid repeating the information. All right. Now I want to go to another sample essay. Below is also a problem solution essay about obesity and poor fitness. We use the broad structure. This time I want you to do a text analysis. Number 1, look at the introduction. Identify if there's a situation. Identify if you can see this the purpose. I mean the significance. Why this is important. Identify the problem. Identify the solution. Identify the thesis statement. All right, few things here. This is like what we have put down. We have mentioned this. So let me put down here. In this introduction, Can we see these three things? Can we see this? Can you take a look? Same time. Consumptions of processed and convenience foods and our dependence on the car have led to an increase in obesity and reduction in fitness level of adult population. So at the very beginning, the writer starts with the problem. Okay, problem is there. Okay, we can't see the situation. Okay, it depends very much how you regulate it. If you ask me which is more important, situation or problem, I would say problem is more important than situation. Unless you have you haven't utilized the word limit, if you can still use the word, if you have not really exceed the word limit, you can write the situation. In some countries, especially industrialized ones, the number of obese people can amount to 1/3 of the population. This is significant as obesity and poor fitness lead to a decrease in life expectancy. Right? So, and therefore, it is important for individuals and governments to work together to tackle this issue and improve their citizens' diet and fitness. We identify the problem. Can you see the thesis statement? The thesis statement is here. Yeah, this one. I don't know. I feel that this introduction, relatively speaking, is pretty short one. Okay, because we see the thesis statement. The thesis statement combines why it needs to be solved. I mean, significance is not singled out. Okay, this why it needs to be solved, and thesis statements they are combined, and you can find a problem in the thesis statements as well. Okay, obesity and poor fitness leads to decrease in life expectancy, and we have no situation, or you may say we have situation. The situation take the forms of problem. This is situation. So basically, I would say that they are combined. They are combined. Purple. Can you see how they are distributed? Okay. Obesity and poor fitness decrease life expectancy. This is in response to the problem identified above in the thesis statement. And is that a qualified? Is that an adequate thesis statement? Sorry, topic sentence? Yes, because this is an opinion. Now, I would like you to give me some proof about why, in what ways obesity and poor fitness would decrease life expectancy. Overweight people are more likely to have serious illnesses, such as diabetes and heart disease, which can result in premature death. It's well known that regular exercise can reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke, which means that those people with poor fitness levels are at the increased risk of suffering from those problems. So this is the second paragraph, or the second section is about the problem. This is the elaboration of the problem, just like what we read before, the problem of housing. Next paragraph, changes by individuals to their diet. Oh, so is that another problem, or is that the solution? Changes by individuals to their diet and their physical activity can increase life expectancy. Well, this seems to be a solution, right? It seems to be a solution. We have to change our diet. We have to make changes to our physical activities. And this is an adequate topic sentence. There's a reliance today on the consumptions of processed food, which has a high fat and sugar content. By preparing their own foods, consuming more fruit and vegetables, people could ensure that their diets are healthier and more balanced, which could lead to a reduction in obesity levels. In order to improve fitness level, people could choose to walk and cycle to work or to the shops rather than taking the car. They could also choose to walk upstairs instead of taking the lift. These simple changes can lead to a significant improvement in fitness levels. Okay, so this is solution one. How this one? The government could also implement initiatives to improve their citizens' eating and exercise habits. Okay, I don't read it all. This is solution two. In short, obesity and poor fitness are a significant problem in modern life, leading to lower life expectancy. So this is a conclusion. The conclusion first reinforces the problem. Individuals and governments can work together. So there are two solutions. The first one at the individual level, you can try to be on diet. How about the government? So this is a government solution provided by a government. can work together to tackle this problem so to improve the data and fitness. Of the solutions suggested, those made by individuals themselves are likely to have more impact. See here? So among these two solutions, you may want to evaluate which one seems to be more important. I would think that just like the writers, we should start from ourselves first, okay? Because we have our own control. So we cannot just sit here, standing idle to waste our government's helping hand. So start from your own first. The efforts made by individuals are likely to have more impact, although it's clear that a concerned effort with government is necessary. This is a broad style, right? It's another broad style. One solution, one problem, and two solutions. Another pattern 3. All right, so that's enough about a problem solution essay. I don't want to cover that. Okay, continue to do it because I have something else for you. Any questions? If no questions, I would like to talk a bit about paraphrasing. Last lesson we learned 8 Harvard citation styles. We know how to make the references, right? So we know how to make the in-text citations. If you still have some confusions, I recommend you to revisit one leaflet I've uploaded to Wiki Moodle. So let me check it out and show it to you. I think that's a really good leaflet. You can really see the referencing styles, how to reference the sources at once, no matter it is from a book, it is from an online article or what. So give me some time to find it. Yeah, here. Hey guys, you go to Moodle, right? With you, we have one item called referencing skills, and I have uploaded the quick guide. This is really, really helpful. Now I click open it. Can you see the guide? Straightforward, really straightforward. How can you make the in-text citations? Yeah. So please refer to this. This is a really quick guide. For example, like, hey Bruce, I have already downloaded an online article. So how can I make the reference? An online article from the web page, right? So I will ask you, is that academic or non-academic? Or that article is an academic, electronic article, academic one. So you may go here. Can you see journal, electronic journal? This is, you put down the surname, initial, the year, and then nursing and the issue of party in the Church of England, the case of Lichfield Dyson Nursing Association. So this is the name. This is the name of the article. For the name of the article, you need to put open quotation mark, close quotation mark, comma, and then the name of the journal. Nursing Inquiry is the name of the journal. The first part is the name of the article, and then 16 is the volume, right? And then page number, and then you have to, if you have it, you have put down the code, the electronic code of that journal. If you just get something online, but this is not from academic journals, articles, okay, you may go with web page, with author, without author. Just follow this one, BBC News, okay, and then you put down the name of the article, and then you put down the link you have visited, available at the time you access it. All right, so I think I would highly recommend you to make use of this one. This is a really quick guide. How about in-text citations? Follow this one, in-text citations. So I think this quick guide is self-explanatory. All right. Now, this is the we just revisited how to make the citation, in-text citations and reference. Now I want to cover a bit about paraphrasing. Okay. We talked about paraphrasing last time, but I didn't really talk about the skills to do paraphrase. Remember, in your research lot, you have to copy the quotation you would like to use. But at the same time, you have to convert this in your own words. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how to do the paraphrase. First of all, we have to know what is plagiarism. Okay, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism means when the time we are writing a report, a paper, you want to refer to the information ideas from other sources to support your argument and convince others about your point of view. Without citing and referencing the sources properly will result in plagiarism. So many people think of plagiarism as copying other people's work or borrowing someone's idea. But to be precise, the following are considered plagiarism. You just turn in someone's work as your own. Number two, I don't think you would turn in someone's work as your own, but there may be some trap or some oversight that you may not know. When you're copying words or ideas from someone else without giving credit, that is plagiarism. And when you fail to put a quotation in the quotation marks, you give incorrect information about the source of a quotation. That is also plagiarism. Interesting. But you see, I highlighted two clauses in red. I think they are more common. You just change the words, but by copying the sentence structures of a source without giving credit. Yeah, what you need to do is, you get the quotation. You just try to change the word. Let's say, the original word is surgery, and you turn it into treatment. But the sentence structure remains the same. At the same time, making matter worse, you didn't cite the author's name and the year. So in other words, you are stealing the work of others. Okay, and then take this one as your own work. So most cases of plagiarism can be avoided. So we can by citing sources. So how can we cite sources? We can avoid plagiarism in 3 ways. The first one is paraphrase, which is the topic of the day. Paraphrase means we write a small part of the original text in your own words with a new sentence structures. So what I mean is that you should change some of the wordings, but that's not enough. You need to change the structure as well. Use another sentence structure to do it. Don't use the same sentence structure. And also you have to give credit. You have to cite the authors. Okay. The other one is summarizing. Summarizing, reduce a larger part of the original text into smaller part by using your own words and applying new paragraph structure. So you will see paraphrasing and summarizing, they're quite similar. Usually we summarize paragraphs. This is a bigger one. We paraphrase a certain statement, certain part of a paragraph. So paraphrase is smaller, summarize is bigger. Summarize involves paragraph or paragraphs. Paraphrase involves a group of sentences within a paragraph, all right? Or you may want to use direct quotation, but you are not recommended to do it. Why I say so? Because if you put direct quotations into your writing, your own writing style may not coincide with the direct quotation, because the direct quotation is written by some others. His writing style may not be able to fit in your writing styles. Also, the content, the way the content is regulated, the content is arranged, cannot fit in your whole picture. You have written a paragraph like this. You just insert a quotation there. So you'll find that the quotation may not be compatible, may not fit well with the whole picture of the paragraph. That's why you need to change the wording in order to assimilate, integrate someone's words more smoothly, more logically, more cohesively into your writing. Therefore, I won't recommend you to use direct quotation. But I can say that direct quotation is one of the ways to avoid plagiarism. Now, let me tell you the three things I just mentioned before you need to do by the time you paraphrase. First, a good paraphrase involves 2 strategies. You change the word or words, and then you change the sentence structure, and then you cite the source in the text and putting the source in the reference list. All right, that's simple. Now, let's do some testing. Can you identify what is and what is not acceptable paraphrasing? Please read this original. Okay, on the left-hand side, this is original text. Okay, I assume that we would like to use this one in our writing. Let's look at the original version. Body consciousness is the obsessions in Asia, and Asians are overgazing the smallboard of weight loss products and miracles diet eggs available. Nobody knows how many are buying untested products of dubious efficacy. At their most harmless, the products are a waste of time, money, and good intention. Some, however, are proving to be deadly. Over the past 2 years, 7 women in Japan, Singapore, and China have died due to the toxicity of the substances they swallow in the hope of shedding kilograms. So the source is from a Japanese guy in 2002. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a Japanese. Now, there are 3 paraphrases. Okay, 3 students try to paraphrase it. Which one is acceptable? Which one is not acceptable? Can you spend some time to read? Thank you. I give you 4 minutes to do it. Do you have some ideas? Which one is acceptable? Which one is not acceptable? Yeah, I see some responses. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go back. Yes, Yun Hong Wai, thank you very much. 3, you mean 3 is acceptable, right? Yes, you are right. 3 is acceptable. Acceptable. Thank you. So let me go back. Let me explain it. Answer, yeah, bingo, you are right. Only test 3 is acceptable, as test 1 has to are using too many words from the original source, and they are using a very similar paragraph structure to the original source, despite the fact that the source is acknowledged in text. Okay, yeah, the source is acknowledged here. We see the intercitations, but you can see that the structure is more or less like in number 1, number 2, the structures are more or less like the original. And most words are retained. And what makes it ridiculous is that when the time we do paraphrase, when the time we do summarizing, should our paraphrases or summary shorter or longer than original? Yeah, you can see that the paraphrase is even longer, more lengthy than original, and this is a bit ridiculous. Agree? So 1 and 2 are not acceptable. The tragic death of 7 women in Asia over the past 2 years would seem to, number 3, would seem to point to a preoccupation with weight loss in the region. There are no statistics available to tell us exactly how many people are buying and consuming potentially lethal weight loss products. So we see this is overhauled. Overhauled means 改頭換面. Learn this phrase. This is overhauled. Not only using other words, not using the same words, but also we see a new structure. And also we see this one, the paraphrase is shorter than the original. Okay, any questions? I want to skip some parts here. Yeah, there's some not essential slides. Sorry, I have to duplicate something here. Give me a moment. Okay, give me a moment because I forget something there. Give me a moment, please. Okay. Now I would like you to learn about how to write a proper, how to construct a proper paragraph or argument. Because in your problem solution essay, you have to construct your argument. For example, the solution. Solution is one of the arguments as well. Here we go. You have learned how to paraphrase a citation briefly. The purpose of this activity is to revisit the paraphrasing skills and empower you with the skills to construct an argument in order to make it more complete and persuasive. Forget about the four-step approach. Forget about it. A common problem identified from student writing is in the construction of an argument is that they sometimes fail to provide an adequate explanation of the citation, which ties it back to the main idea. So many students, by the time they do the citation, yes, they put the cited source, they put the paraphrase there, but the paraphrase there doesn't collect well with the previous ideas, or the citation, the paraphrase there is not being explained thoroughly. Do you see what I mean here? So we don't know how you are going to use the paraphrase to support your claim. Okay, let me give you an example. Look at the fourth extract from a student writing. Today, we are too self-centered. Most families no longer sit down to eat together, preferring instead to eat on the go. On the go means busy. Okay, eat on the go while rushing to the next appointment. Morrison, 2008. Everything is about what we want. So how do you think this writing? Do you think the idea here, the argument here is clear? I don't think you will feel this is a clear idea. Why? This is a weak example of an argument because the cited source does not seem immediately related to the claim. What's the cited source? The paraphrase, most families no longer sit down to eat together, preferring instead to eat on the go while rushing to the appointment. So I don't know, this is a paraphrase. This is a cited source. I don't know how this one is related to the topic sentence self-center. I can't see the direct relationship between the cited source and self-center. And also, I don't know how we can arrive at the conclusion. Everything is about what we want. You see what I mean here? And this is, yeah, you may say this is an extreme example. This is really, really bad. But I would say that many students make these mistakes. That is, they just put the paraphrase there. They have the cited source, but the cited source did not collect well with the topic sentence, and the cited source didn't really help relate to the rest of the paragraph. What we did is you need to interpret, you need to add some sentences or a sentence to interpret the cited source, interpret the paraphrase, and tell us how you are going to use this paraphrase to support your claim in the topic sentence. Okay. Number two, the writer doesn't make the connection between the explanation, everything is about what we want, and the citation. So in other words, there are three sentences. The second sentence is the citation. The citation is not immediately related to the topic sentence, and the citation is not immediately related to the conclusion. So it can't reach both ends. How can we make the improvement? How can we make the improvement? Can you see my improvement here? Today, Americans are too self-centered. Even our families, don't matter as much anymore as once they did. Other people and activities take precedence. In fact, the evidence shows that most American families no longer eat together, preferring instead to eat on the go while rushing to the next appointment. Sit-down meals are a time to share and collect with others. However, that collection has become less valued as families begin to prize individual activities over shared time, promoting self-centeredness over group identity. Okay, this is a much better version. This is a much better version. Can you see what I did here? The topic sentence remain there. Americans are too self-centered. But I want to use the citation. Most families no longer sit together most families no longer sit down to eat together, preferring instead to eat on the go. I need something in between. I need something after self-centered in between to orient the reader, to orient my topic sentence into the setting of families. Because the citation is about family dinner. But family dinner here. but the topic sentence is about Americans are too self-centered. So I need something in between to fill up the gap about a scenario. I'm talking about families, self-centered. Is self-centeredness impact on families? See here, this is what I add. Even our families don't matter as much. Even our families don't matter as much anymore as they did before. Other people and activities take precedence. In fact, so this is a citation. And then sit down meals I time to share. This is my interpretation of the citation. Interpretation of citations. I want to explain how I use the citation to help back up the claim that Americans are too self-centered, and this would damage the family relationship. Oh, sorry, the battery is running low. I need this one. Give me some time. Hey guys, you can see that I want you to pay attention. Originally, I had 3 sentences or 3 parts, but for this correct version, I add 2 more components. Okay, if you see the citation as something in between, as a center, can I write something anywhere? I have the topic sentence. I have the paraphrase. How come? I have the topic sentence. I have the paraphrase. And then I have let's say the concluding sentence. It's not conclusion, but I just put it down concluding sentence here. At the beginning, in version 1, you see that the paraphrase is not immediately related to topic sentence. The concluding sentence is not immediately related to paraphrase. Because paraphrase is something you borrow, you want to put it into your context. When you put something you borrow into your context or story, you need to add something as a transition. Here, you want to do elaboration. You want to do elaborations or explanation. For example, you want to further explain your topic sentence, okay? Or you want to further elaborate, okay? Give the background information. Try to link the topic sentence and the paraphrase. The topic sentence is self-centered. The paraphrase is about family dinner. So you may say that this self-centeredness in Americans also apply to family time, right? This self-centeredness, okay, in America also happen in the family time, make an impact on the family time. So this is a transition, and then you quote, most American families no longer eat together. They prefer to eat on the go while watching the next appointment. That's it. Then topic sentence and the paraphrase will be collected. Next, before you make the concluding sentence, I think you have to add something here. You need to interpretation. You need to interpret the paraphrase. Interpret 解讀啊. Okay, you need to interpret the paraphrase and turn the paraphrase to your own use. You use the paraphrase. You have to explain how you use the paraphrase to support your claim in the topic sentence, self-centered. Here, sit down meals I time to share and collect with others. However, such collection has diminished in America. People value more than individual business, right? Therefore, self-centeredness has dominated, okay, compared to group identity. Conclusion. I cannot see your facial expressions, but I hope that you know what I mean here. Okay, I would say this is not in your course book. I do prepare the lessons. I see. I try to cover everything in the course book, but by the time I see any gap, any missing point, just like some missing point here, missing the elaboration, missing the interpretation, I will provide to you. All right, and I think this is not. I believe that. I strongly believe that, according to my experience, most students are not doing well here without attending my lesson like this, because most of the time they don't have elaboration. They don't have this. They don't have this. They just grab whatever relevant they think and put it there, and then add the head, add the tail. That's it. So by the time we are reading it, we find the argument is not really cohesive. We find the argument is not really strong because there's some missing information. The readers need to use his imagination to fill up it logically, and this is wrong. This is not good enough. All right. Now, can we do another thing? Look at this extract from a student writing. Do you think this argument is clear, is focused? Do you think this argument is persuasive? Let's see. Consumptions of untested weight loss products in Asia is on the increase and is varying. What's that? What should we do in the first paragraph? What should we do in the first sentence of the first paragraph? Also, what should we do in the first sentence of every single paragraph? Topic sentence. The topic sentence has to be something with your opinion. You should have factual information. Yes, this is your opinion. Consumptions of untested weight loss product is on the increase and is varying. We see the idea here. Your own opinion, okay, on the increase and varying. So what do I expect? I expect in the rest of paragraphs, you have to tell me, give me some evidence why it is on the rise. Give me some evidence. How do you find it? How did you find it? It is on the rise. Where did you find it? Where do you know it? Number two, why it is varying? Can you give me some evidence? I want to see this too in the rest of the paragraph. Let's read on. While many young ladies are resorting to these slimming and beauty products as a shortcut to improve their appearance, these so-called health products might not have been under proper supervision. Yeah, so this is what I call the elaboration of the topic sentence. Remember this? This is the second one. After the topic sentence, you may want to elaborate or explain further your controlling idea. So second one here. Can we see here? Yeah, what aspects, what information you need to explain, you need to elaborate. Increase, on the increase. Can you give me more information? Varying. Can you tell me why it's varying? Can we see this too in the elaboration? Yes, many young ladies are resorting to these slimming products. Many, right? So at least I think this is revenue. This is corresponding to increase. Why this is varying? This is varying because these so-called health products are not under proper supervision. They are not under supervision by the government, by the health department. That's why this is varying. See, this is the elaboration, explanation of the controlling idea in the topic sentence. Now, can we see the citation? Can we see the paraphrase? Yes, according to this guy in 2002, it was reported that some consumers were poisoned by the weight loss product they took, and it appeared that an ingredient in that drugs such as Slim Tan could have dramatic effects on the functioning of the liver. The whole thing here, according to Until Liver, this is a citation. Now, I stop here. Is this one a complete paragraph? Is this one a complete argument? Does it miss anything? Double check it. We have the topic sentence, yes. We have the elaborations or explanation, yes. We have the paraphrase, yes. But do we have the interpretation of the paraphrase? Do we have a concluding sentence? No, we don't have this too. Can you see that? That argument stopped at paraphrase, but missing this one. That's why I say that, logically speaking, that paragraph or that argument is not 100% complete. It's okay, but there's something missing here. This is what I want to say. The topic sentence is clear. A sentence following the topic sentence elaborates on the controlling idea. I hope you can still remember what controlling idea is. We learned it in high school. Controlling ideas on the increase and varying, they are the controlling ideas. We use the following sentence to elaborate on the controlling ideas. However, the citation may appear a bit standalone. The citation, just the right words, just stand there, but there's no interpretation. You miss something to put the final touch. Right? What I mean is that in Chinese saying, we say that 畫龍點睛，你畫咗條龍喺度啦 ，OK， 但係冇點睛喎 ，all right， make it alive. So how you are going to make this paraphrase alive? See here, topic sentence here, elaborations here, cited sources here. This is a paraphrase. So what could I do? I don't have the answer, but you see me here. So what can I do here? I can add one more clause. I can add one or two more sentences to make it complete. So give it a moment. Or you may want to think about it. What sentence you will put at the end to make it complete. Okay, maybe, do you have the answer? How would you make it complete? So this is what I've done. See here, given that there are insufficient statistics available to tell us how many people are buying and consuming potentially wage loss products, it would seem that more investigation into this worrisome problem is needed. So this is my interpretation, plus my conclusion and interpretation, they are combined. They're combined. The purple one, the purple sentence is my addition. Can you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, another thing, when the time you are writing anything academically, we need to learn how to hatch. Hatch. Do you know what's the meaning of hatch? Hatching words. When the time we engage in any academic writing and speaking, we have to play safe. We have to reduce the level of certainty. Reduce our level of certainty, especially when the time we are expressing opinion. Try to avoid using those strong words like the problem is because when the time you use is and are, you are stating something as a fact. Okay, but they are your opinions. You may be wrong. Therefore, to play safe, you need to play down the word choice to make it more tentative, less certain, right? So can we read this paragraph and identify the words which are used to hatch the tone to make you less certain? Our perceptions of others are often affected by their styles of clothing because of the time. Maybe. Let me show it to you. Can you see the words I circled? Our perceptions of others are often, but not are affected. I add often here to hatch it. The way specific types of clothing are advertised in the media could create, but not can create, could create. Any more? These studies show that different clothing styles had apparently, very likely, may. You see what I mean here? And also, can you identify the structure I use? Can you find the structure I use to build up the argument? So this is a paragraph, but I'm still using the four-step structure. Remember the first one, topic sentence. The second one, elaboration. Elaborations of the controlling idea. Next one, we have the paraphrase. And last one, you have the interpretation. Usually, this could be part of your concluding sentence or sentences. Can we see that? Can we see the controlling idea? Can we see the topic sentence, the blue one? Our perceptions of others are often affected by their styles of clothing. So we have the topic sentence here. The controlling idea is styles of clothing in fashion advertising. Can we see the elaborations of the controlling idea? Yes, the brown one. The way specific types of clothing are advertised in the media could create an impression. So why we think that our perceptions of others in the media may be affected by the style of clothing? Why we have such an association? We judge others through their clothing because somehow we are affected by the media, right? The way we judge people, if they are good, if how they look like, what their features, what their quality is about based on the clothing, because this judgment is affected by the social media or media to create impression of the levels of intelligence, personalities, and character of the wearer of the clothes. So this one is number 2 is the elaboration. Number 1 is the topic sentence. And now we see the paraphrase. The paraphrase is number 3. The research study, for example, found that teachers judge the level of intelligence of pupils in their classroom by the clothes they wore. And our studies of adults showed that when people were exposed to images of a person wearing conservative or casual clothing, they saw the person as self-controlled and reliable, while people dressed in a darling style were found to be attractive and individualistic. So I have 2 sources here. And this is a paraphrase or paraphrases. I'll give it a moment, please. I want to double check something. Now, many students, they stop here. So if you stop here, this is unfinished. This is incomplete. We need your interpretation. We need your interpretations of the paraphrase. That is, show me how you use the paraphrase to support your claim. Your claim is our perceptions of others are affected by the clothing in the advertisement. See here, this study showed that different clothing styles had apparently created different impressions of wearer. Intelligent and crude as opposite to unintelligent and unfashionable. Such impressions are very likely shaped by the way fashion advertisers who portray clothes in the media. Each season, they create new fashion trends. At the same time, has an effect on the way people may perceive others through impressions, and judgment created may be falsely based on only on clothing. So I think this is a long one. So an interpretation could be really long. See here, okay, class. Imagine if I don't have the purple one, if I don't have the interpretation. Look at the paragraphs. You will find that the whole paragraphs is represented by some others words. Do you agree with me? If we don't have the number 4, if you don't have number 4, we only have 1, 2, 3. You will find that the whole paragraphs is dominated by some others ideas. You have low input. You have low input. So you will find that this is something not good about it, right? You should have your input because this is your writing. That's why your interpretation is very important to show your stance. On one hand, on the other hand, it shows how you use the paraphrase. So your job is not done. By the time you have find something useful, oh, I want to use this one to support my topic sentence, then I copy it. Oh, I remember Bruce told me that we should not copy word by word. We should change some words, and we should use another sentence structure, and we try to make shorter. I have done all this. Okay, now done it. I put there. That's it. No, that's not the end. You need to interpret it in your own way, with a focus on telling people how you are going to use this paraphrase to support your message, your key message. All right. Any questions about how to construct a good paragraph? So let me recap what we have learned. Number one, we have learned so far, we have learned the structure of the problem solution writing, right? And we have read two sample essays, right? One is the first one is the housing problem. The second one is obesity, right? And we see that both sample essay follows pattern 3, that is one single problem with multiple solutions. But just in case that you want to have two solutions and two problems, that two solutions and two problems, I mean one solution to each problem, that will be fine. But in your conclusion part, you may want to talk about the feasibilities of the solutions, okay, rather than using pattern 3. In pattern 3, you may offer more than one solutions. Then if that is the case, in your conclusion part, you have the leeway to discuss which solution, serve the best interest. So that's what we have done in the first part of the lesson. In the second part of the lesson, you have learned about what constitutes plagiarism, right? And then we have 3 ways to avoid plagiarism. The first is paraphrase. The second is summarizing. The third one is using direct quotation. We eliminate direct quotation because that is not a good one. You are just copying someone's words, and those words may not be integrated well means cohesively into your writing. So we eliminate direct quotation. We can use either paraphrase and summary. What's the difference between paraphrase and summary? Paraphrase, usually it means that we just we capture part of the paragraphs, few sentences, and we write it on our own. In summary, we rewrite the whole paragraph. So one is bigger, one is smaller. That's the only difference. But one thing is in common. By the time you do paraphrase, by the time you do summary, they should be shorter than the original statement, original text. Okay, and also by the time you put the paraphrase, remember you have to acknowledge the writer and the year. That's why we put the in-text citations. All right. Next, what we've learned, the 4-step approach to construct your argument or to construct your paragraph. The first one, topic sentence. The second one, your elaborations of the topic sentence or explanation. That second one is important because the second one is like a bridge to collect your topic sentence and your paraphrase. Because your paraphrase is someone's borrowed words, you may want to do some transition in second part. Just like, let's say, sorry, you have the organ transplant. 器官移植. People's organ may not fit into you, may not be compatible, so you have to make some adjustment. So number two is the buffer for you to make some modification, right, to prepare people for it, the paraphrase. Number 3 is done. Number 4 is very important. You put the final touch. You type the loose end. That is, yes, you have the paraphrase. You borrow some ideas. And now can you explain to me in what ways your borrowed ideas could help support your topic sentence or your claim? All right, then that will be complete. So the second part of the lesson is we learn how to construct a more complete and persuasive paragraph or argument, if not a paragraph. All right. So the third part of lesson coming next is to teach you how to write things more logically and cohesively. But I would like you to give me, guys, okay, can you give me five minutes break? I want to go to toilet. 5 or 6 minutes, I have to go to toilet. All right, I will come back in a moment. Thank you. Okay, I realized that, okay, it's raining heavily outside. Before I move to the third part, maybe it's good for me to, is it good for me to reinforce what, to give you one more example, if you like, to give you one more example. Give me a moment, please. Now, let's say that I want to show you how I paraphrase a source, a cited source, and how I incorporate the paraphrase as part of my argument with the 4 steps. Imagine I'm writing an essay on email surveillance. The following is the first argument in the second paragraph of my essay. So the topic sentence is provided. Email surveillance in workplace is necessary. Now, I also provide the elaboration explanation because individuals often overuse the internet for purposes other than work. Now, I want to look for some cited sources, to support that we need to closely monitor employees' email because they use it for something other than work. I want to look for evidence, academic evidence to back up my claim. But it happens that I see this one, which is quite helpful. James Hudson conducted a study on email surveillance in 2009. He found that 51% of employees' time online was non-work related. They spent the time reading personal emails, visiting chat rooms, and checking personal finances. Yo, excellent, bingo. I find one strong evidence to support that we need to supervise people's email. Good. Then I would like to paraphrase this one as number 3, step 3. And also I would like to add the interpretation, my analysis of the citation, that is, to put the final touch of it. So how we'll do it? The step 1, step 2 is done for you. Step 1, email surveillance in workplace is necessary. Step 2, because individuals often overuse the internet for purposes other than work. They are there. How about my citation? My paraphrase? How about my interpretations? It's not there. Can you see what I did here? Okay, this is my citation. A study conducted by Jim Hudson indicates that internet activities such as reading personal emails, visiting chat rooms, or checking personal finances accounted for 51% of employees' time spent online. This is the original, right? Is that the original? No, I paraphrase it. You can compare the original one. You can compare the original with mine. Let me check it. Yeah, I put it side by side. Can you see the changes I made? Okay, there are 2 versions. There's only one version. Okay, a study conducted by Jim Hudson indicated that Jim Hudson conducted a study on email surveillance, such as reading personal emails, visiting chat rooms, checking personal finances, accounted for 51%. He found that 51% of employees' time spent online was work unrelated. So can you see I make the change? Even though I use the same words, but I use a new sentence structure to do it. Right? So this is paraphrase. Now, the most important part, my step 4, my interpretation of this paraphrase. It means that I have to explore it to my own use to support my claim. This means this research shows very clearly that the problem is very serious. Therefore, appropriate measures must be introduced. Or this shows that an escalating supervision on employees' online behavior is essential in order to improve the productivities of workplace. Right? I'm not saying only we need a stronger supervision, just like what the topic sentence mentioned. I add something further in order to increase the productivity. So this is my interpretation of a citation. This means this research shows that we need to do that. Indeed, most students would paraphrase the original text word by word in such a way that they might replace some words with the words of similar meanings, or they might just follow the same grammar patterns without the awareness that they can change the original sentence pattern to another pattern. All right, so far now, do you have a better understanding? So that's it for the four-step approach to develop an argument or to develop a paragraph. So I hope that you like that part. So let me go to another part. You can find this one. You can find this one. The worksheet, this new one, is the coming part on on Moodle. I need you to do some writing practice this time. When the time you go to Moodle, week number 3, can you go to Paraphrasing and Coherence? You click into it, and you will find the worksheet for, for this upcoming activities. You click open it. You will see this. You will see this. All right. Yeah. So your version is different from my version because I'm using PowerPoint, and this is a worksheet. Now I want to ask you these questions. I want to ask you these questions. Do you know the difference between coherence and cohesion? Have you learned about it before? Because I don't know your background. I want you to tell me, have you heard about or have you learned coherence and cohesion? Please tell me in the chat box. Thank you. Anyone? Okay, coherence, cohesions, they both involves collectivities. How to collect your ideas more logically, more smoothly. So it both involves collectivity. But for coherence, it's about collecting ideas across paragraphs. So this is bigger. This is bigger. How about the other one? Cohesion is smaller. It's about collectivity between ideas within a paragraph. All right. Now I want you to look at page 1 down below, right, in your worksheet. There are two versions. I would like you to tell which version is better. I would like you to tell me which version is a better version. I'll give you a few minutes to do it. You can indicate later. Don't need indicate the answer now. I want you to understand your background, your understanding, your prior knowledge. So this is a quiz for me to understand something about you. Will you please read these two versions? These two versions have the same topic. The content is quite identical, but they are written differently. Will you please tell me which one is a better version? I remain open about better. You define what better means, all right? You define what better means. Which one you prefer? I give you 2 minutes to think about it, and after 2 minutes, I will ask you, please now indicate your answer. Tell me which one you prefer more. Say, put down 1 if you prefer 1, put down 2 if you prefer 2. So I would like to see the responses in order to understand more about you guys. Okay, now, will you please indicate your preference? Put that number 1 in the chat box if you prefer version 1. Put that number 2 in the chat box if you prefer version 2, please. Thank you. Let me see the response. 1. Okay, I see 3 students indicating 1. How about others? Are you still with me? Or you have given up already? I mean, I'm not saying that you give the course up. You have given me up. You have given me up. Thank you. Version 2. Okay, 1 student say version 2, 2 students say version 2. So there's a mix. It depends on which perspective you take. Okay, the subject ID more precise. The subject is subject ID. So the subject is more precise. The subject is more precise. It's more precise. Okay, thank you. So somehow, guys, A of B. What do you mean? A is better, right? Do you mean A is better? One Susan. One is better. Most of you indicate one is better. Thank you. Okay. It's really quite sad that I can't see you because I'm looking forward to see your faces. By the time I'm teaching, I can only see all the pictures. Okay, with letters. So it seems that I let the dilemma of you. Okay, one. Good. If your answer is number 1, it means that you need to stay here. Pay more attention. It doesn't mean you're wrong because I would like to say, I would like to invite you to tell something about why you think that number 1 being better. Yeah, thank you, Won Yusun. Most of you say number 1 being better. Okay, let me move on. Most students, also my students in the past, they have the following reasons. I don't know if their reasons are yours as well. I don't know if you are holding the same reason as well. For students who prefer version 1 because it's simpler and direct, and also they thought that it's easier to understand. Version 1 is easier to understand. They find that it's easier to follow and it's more reader friendly. I think this is what you are thinking as well. I think you are on the same page with them. For some people, for the minority, few students, they prefer version 2 because they find more complex structures and they find it easier to understand, easier to follow, it's more focused. Do you find something contradictory here? Some students think version 1 easier to understand. Some students think that version 2 easier to understand. So who is right, who is wrong? But now let me ask the questions in another way. Let me ask the questions in another way. Please answer. All right. I need your response to tell a bit more about you guys. Now, if you have to choose one version, okay. Question 1, I asked you which one is better. This is your personal preference. All right. Now, let me change the question a bit. If you have to make a submission of assignment, if you have to choose one for submission of assignment, would you choose version 1 or version 2? Please put it down, 1 or 2. This time, okay. Can you see that? Can you say that some people make a swap, right? One say 2, one say we need more response. We don't have enough response, so the answer is not representative 1. And most of you still indicate 1 being better. No one say 2. Okay, good. Let me ask you next question. Still, most of you didn't change your mind. Now, don't take me wrong. I'm not forcing you to change your mind because let me continue the third questions. By the time I finish the third questions, by the time you give the answer in response to the third questions, things will be more crystallized. Let me go back. Let me take out the extract, version 1, version 2 here. You can see here. Now, in version 1, can you tell me the main idea in version 1? Version 2, can you tell me the main idea in version 2? Or let me delete version 2 first. Version 1, can you tell me the main idea of version 1? Please put it down in the chat box, the main idea of version 1. Coronary heart disease. Coronary heart disease is known as the second leading cause of death for humans in Hong Kong, and it causes at least 25% of death in America every year. People cannot perform better for preventing disease because they are unaware of the symptoms. Can you tell me the main idea in this text, please? I think that I have to speak a bit faster. In the past, some students say that, okay, the main idea is about the seriousness of the problem, the seriousness of the coronary heart disease. But some may say that, oh, the main idea is about the prevention of disease. Okay, people cannot prevent the disease because they are unaware of symptoms. Some may say this. Some may say the main idea is coronary heart disease being the secondary cause of death. You agree? So there's no definite answer about the main idea in version 1. But when the time we look at version 2, the main idea, most students are able to identify the main idea. The main idea is at the end, little attention is paid to its symptoms. Not to mention any preventive measure, Many students point to this in the past. But for version 1, some people point to this. Some people say this. Quite unsure. But let me tell you, now we're focused now. Which one is better? If I ask you which one is better in terms of its focus, I would say version 2 is better in terms of its focus. Why I say so? Because in academic writing, we should not let the readers to speculate, to guess your meaning. Do I mean here? We allow low guessing, because a good piece of academic writing, if a reader can read without effort, without guessing, without speculating, that is a good reading. If a reader need to guess, need to think, they need to use his imagination and common sense to collect the ideas, that is a piece of poor writing. All right. So I don't know if you feel the same as me as well. Version 2, the main idea is clearer, and version 1 is less clearer. Do you know why? Because of what? When the time we are writing a sentence, writing a paragraph, okay, or writing a number of sentences, okay, usually the main idea is conveyed in the main clause, in the independent clause. So what is an independent clause? An independent clause means like this: I'm hungry. It can stand alone. In terms of meaning, it could be independent. In terms of grammar, the grammar can stand alone, no problem. Dependent clause, it means that it cannot stand alone grammatically, because in grammar it's not complete. In terms of meaning, it cannot stand alone because the meaning is incomplete. And I want to tell you, usually the main idea is conveyed in the independent clause. Now, let's look at version 1. Will you please tell me how many main ideas in this part? How many main ideas are there? How many, in other words, how many independent clause? In other words, how many independent clause? Anyone? An answer? There are three. There are three independent clause. Which three? 1. Coronary heart disease is known as a secondary cause of death. The first one. Second one, it causes at least 25% of death. Third one, people cannot perform better. 3 independent clauses. In other words, 3 main causes. In other words, 3 main ideas, and 1 dependent. So in just a really short text, we have 3 main ideas. So each idea represent they are on equal footing. They receive the equal attention. So it's no surprise that people cannot tell which one is the main idea. It's confusing in that sense. Now let's look at the second version. For the second version, how many main ideas, how many independent clauses. We see that there's only one independent clause. There's only one independent clause, which is this one. Which is this one. This is independent. The rest while dependent, which dependent. All right. So what I would like to say here is that we can make use of sentence variety, sentence patterns to assign the meaning, to assign the meaning to assign the role, assign the idea and role. So you know which idea is more important, which ideas are supplementary. All right. By the time we look at this one, we know that this is the main idea. So this is the main, because this is in independent clause. The rest of it, while coronary heart disease is known as the leading cause of death for humans in Hong Kong, because this is the while we have while this is a subordinating cause. So we know that this is the background information. The sentence structure itself already implied its role. 我即係話咧，你用唔同嘅句子結構咧嗰陣時咧，你用呢個句子結構擺呢個 idea， 擺另外一個 idea， 你已經咧其實已經命名咗，你 assign 咗佢個角色啦。You give him a character already. By the time we say which, we know that this is supplementary information. Which is supplementary, not the main. Additional data. By the time you use a particular sentence structures, you have already assigned the roles to different ideas. So when the people read it, they know what it means and what is its role. Oh, this is father, this is mother, this is teacher, this is students. A student. You see what I mean here? That makes your writing more logical, easier for people to understand. So why we have to learn coherence? We need to learn coherence for what reason? Because we want to improve the overall clarity. All right. So how can we improve the overall clarity? We have to first identify the relationship between ideas. And more importantly, we have to identify a right and appropriate sentence structures to relate those ideas so that each idea, the role of each idea is clear to the reader. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So let me jump to other point here. Because of the time constraints, I have to speak up. I want to teach you another principles when the time you write sentences. First of all, we call this the O'Neill principles. Can you see the diagram down below? If you want to make your ideas more collected, try to do this, but this is not always true. The first part of your second sentence, the subject place, the subject of your first sentence has to be referring to the main idea or the second part of sentence one. So that is called, we call this O'Neill principles. Now, look at these two versions. Can you tell me which one is more collected? The ideas are more collected. In other words, more coherent. One or two. Can you put down your preference in the chat box, one or two? Anyone? Anyone? No one, okay. Let me try to see. I want to test something. Can you hear this? Oh, can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? I hope so. This 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 one. Your idea. All right. Can you hear? Version 1 being better. I just want to double check if you can hear what I said. What I said. All right, thank you. I see one user gave the answer, number 2. Thank you, very good. Let's carry on. How about this one? This time, can you see this? Yeah, another example. Which one is more persuasive? Which one is more collected? One of the tourist spots a traveler must visit is the Peak. Attracting more than 5 million visitors every year, the Peak is ranked as the most attractive tourist spot this year. Overseeing the spectacular view of Victoria Harbour from the Peak has made it so popular among visitors. This is version 1. How about version 2? In version 2, one of the tourist spots a traveler must visit is the Peak. It is ranked as the most attractive tourist spot, attracting more than 5 million visitors every year. What makes it so popular among visitors is attributed to its particular view overseeing Victoria Harbour. The content is the same, but you will see some the pattern, the sequence is a bit different. But can you tell me which version is more cohesive, 1 or 2? Please indicate your answer in the chat box. Please indicate your answer in the chat box. Anyone? Okay, I see some responses, which is good. Thank you. Where are you? We see most of you, 2 students indicate the answer. Number 1. Number 1. Okay, let me go back. I forget. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1 is better. Okay, let me check it. I try to divide the paragraphs into 2 meaningful groups. One meaningful group and the second meaningful group. Look at how the second one correlates to the first one. Okay, one of the tourist spots a traveler must visit is the Peak. Attracting more than 5 million visitors every year, the Peak is ranked as one of the most attractive tourist spots this year. Now, let's see the opening of the second segment. Overseeing this particular view of Victoria Harbour, is that the new information or old information? Overseeing this particular view of Victoria Harbour, this is new information, right? But let's look at the other side. What makes it so popular? What makes it so popular among visitors? Popularity. This is corresponding to attracting more than 5 million visitors. And what makes it so popular? This is the old information referring to, this is the information referring to what it is said before. What is said before. So I'm sorry to say that version 2 is better in that sense. version 2 is better in that sense. I hope that you understand what I mean here. All right. All right. Are you confused? Are you confused? Are you guys confused? Okay. And okay. Actually, I'm doing something unexpected because this is my last day. That's why I want to provide you a bit more recipe, more building blocks and skills to write better in your writing. Okay, you are confused. Independent, dependent. All right, let me give you one more example. One more example. Let me go back to that one here. Okay, O'Neill principles. When the time you start a new unit, new group of sentences, make sure that the first part of the sentence should be referring to the main idea in the second one, just like what we did here. Just like what we did here. Okay, light bulbs have been the main light source in the past, but they are short-lived and not efficient because most energy is wasted in generating heat rather than light. Next sentence or next unit, to remedy the situation. Situation means what situation? The situation refers to short-lived, the problems identified above, short-lived and not efficient. So these two units are collected, right? But on the other side, if we start the new sentence or new unit or new segment with a new idea, frozen night trips, this is new. So when the people read it, imagine if you start every single segment or unit with a new idea, people cannot collect, right? You have to give them a buffer, okay, in buffer to collect them with, try to collect them with the old idea first before you say something new. So we put the new idea at the back. You can see that frozen night trip is at the end. I add some words before to remedy the situation above. This is the buffer. This is a transitional phrase. The same happened here. The pit is red, one of the most attractive tourist spots. Or here, attracting more than 5 million visitors. I collect these ideas with popularity. What makes it so popular? What makes it so popular? So popular, how do I know popular? Popular based on the previous idea, attracting more than 5 million visitors. So they are collected popular because of 5 million visitors, because of the most attractive spots being ranked, right? And the new information, the beautiful scenery of Victoria Harbour, this is the new information I put at the end. So this is the way to make it more collected. Let me give you another example, which is not really significant. In this lesson, you are introduced to 4 sentence structures. Let's say, in this lesson, you are introduced to 4 sentence structures. Apply what you have learned about this usage. Please go to the next page. All right. In this lesson, version 2, you are learning 4 sentence structures. Please go to the next page and work on the exercise by applying what you have learned. So which one strictly follow the O'Neill principles? Version 1 or version 2? Tell me, which one is better in terms of the collectivities? I hope that you will find version 1 better. In this lesson, let's see, I want to see how you reply, response. Where are you? Yeah, you got it. Most of you got it. Version 1 better. Version 1 better. Yes, you are right. Version 1 better because apply what you've learned about usage. What you learned in this lesson, you have learned 4 sentence structures. So they are collected. This is referring to the previous main idea. But don't take me wrong. It doesn't mean that whenever you start a new sentence, you need to repeat exactly the same word you have done before. No, it doesn't mean like that. I live in the house. I live in that house. Full stop. In front of the house, there are flowers. Full stop. The flowers are tulips, roses. I don't mean like that. You have to change the wording. You have to give a bit more elaborated meaning of the repeated ideas. Just like I didn't say in this lesson, you are introduced to 4 sentences. By applying the 4 sentences, please go to, no, I didn't repeat the same word, but I just try to modify it a bit. Just like this one, just like this one, just like this one. I didn't say, again, short-lived or not efficient. I just say to remedy the situation above, the situation refers to short-lived and not efficient. Okay, do you have a better understanding now? I hope so. Okay, I think that's about it now. Because if I continue, then I think it would take another 30 minutes. Another 30 minutes. So it's time for me to stop. Thank you. This is a special occasion to meet you all. Even though just for 3 lessons, okay. I hope that you have made a good start, all right, about language learning. So I hope that in lesson 5, okay, you have the lessons here. You come back to Cheng Yi, and you will have a new teacher. I really hope that you can have more involvement, participation in class, because after all, language learning requires communication, requires interaction. If the learning communication is one way, you cannot fully take the advantage. Since I don't know if you how your attitude towards language learning, because this is a compulsory course. But anyway, you have to spend the time here. Why not make the full use of this opportunity to have some conversation, to have some interaction, to practice your speaking? Because I remember in the first lesson I asked you, what's your expectation in this course? And some of you indicate speaking. So if you want to improve your speaking, you will need to voice out. All right. And in these 3 lessons, okay, the time is quite limited, but I hope that I have laid the foundation for the future work. At least you know what you are supposed to do for your assessment, writing assessment and speaking assessment. You won't have your group formation until week 5. By the time you see each other, come back to campus, you will have your group form. Very likely you may have 4 or 5 students per group. So it depends how your teachers organize it, because we have 33 students, quite a lot. And please because we don't have class next week, so please make use of time to do some research on the topic. And then I use the research log. I remember research log to help frame your structures, and you have to find some readings online to support your claim. All right. Any questions before? Okay, we end the lesson today. Any questions about anything? So if you have no questions, no response, we can. I think we can stop here. We will stop here. No, now. No, now. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I can only have the worksheet because for the PowerPoint, because this is a copyright. This is a copyright. That's why. Yeah, I'll go back to UST. Because the copyright involved, I can't really upload the full version. But you can see I try my best already. I try my best to make the PDF file to eliminate the copyright issues. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. That's the end of lesson today. Thank you. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.